This has been AI6YR. Just wanted to show the latest progress on the restoration of my Hallicrafters S-108. For those who may have seen a video from, it may have even been from last year, I found this at a Hamfest. It is actually in a junk box. They were going to dump this in the trash because it was disassembled and no one wanted to pick it up. I actually brought it home and took a look at it, and it was in parts. All the knobs were off, the front panel was off, the glass was separated, the chassis was not together, and lots of pieces were disassembled. It appeared that someone had started to do a restoration on this, and then they were unable to finish it. And based on the newspapers it was packed in, this was in the 1960s. You can go back to my prior video and see that. And what I did is I took it back and cleaned it up, and it was not a very fast fix for me, and it's not 100% yet. I actually ended up having to trace the circuit tube by tube to discover why it wasn't running. And lo and behold, somebody had miswired at least 4 or 5 spots. So I'm not sure if they tried to restore this and failed to restore it correctly, or if this was maybe sold as a kit form or unassembled and they miswired it when they got it. So very unclear to me what the situation is for this radio, but it's up and running again. So it is working on it's working on 3 or 4, there's 4 bands here, and 3 of them work okay. One of them is quiet, and the other one is very, very quiet. And I'm still trying to debug those issues. But it's better than sitting in a box and not working. So let's go first to AM here, to the AM band, and see what we got.
And that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing the leakage by the defense because they've just been out there, and the Niners will continue to run and pick up first downs and eke out, and they'll just run the clock. Big play.
So let's talk about the controls this has. This actually has a volume switch right here, and sensitivity, which is really, I think on most new radios, is actually RF gain. This is actually the RF gain. The band selector, there's actually a wafer switch back here, which switches between the bands. AVC, that's the auto volume control, and that controls loud signals and automatically controls the volume so it's not too loud. Noise limiter, on and off, that's reduces the noise. AM mode and CW mode. The power switch, which also has high, medium, low tone, just changes how the tone of the thing. Pitch control for CW. I do not have the original connector for this pitch control, so I need to figure out what's going on there. And standby and receive. So if you are running this with a transceiver, you can flip on to standby and to receive depending on what the situation is. There's 2 knobs here. There's a main tuning knob and there's a fine tuning knob. Main tuning knob right now is working. Fine tuning knob, I'm waiting for some dial string to restring this, and we'll take a look inside and see what that is all about. So let's take a look at the inside of the radio. So this is the main tuning capacitor right here. This is the fine tuning capacitor. These are the dials from the back. We're looking at from behind. There are these 3 metal cans are IF coils. This one is a new one. Funny enough, I had one in a box. They're worth a lot of money, but I wanted to restore this radio. The other one was not working. I'm not sure if the capacitors were bad or if it got fried or whatever, and I'll have to take a look at that later. But anyway, I had one, so I just replaced it. There are a number of the first one of tubes, V1, is a 6SG7, and this actually takes RF from the antenna connector, which you can't quite see out of field here, and it amplifies it. And we'll look at underneath there, and it actually sends it through some filters, and right here is the converter, which is the um, uh, which actually takes and mixes the frequency from the antenna and 3 different oscillators for the 3 different bands, and spits it into the IF. And there are 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I think these are IF amplifiers here. 6 SK7s. This is a regulator tube just for the voltages. This is a 6H6. This is used for the AVC on one side and for the noise reduction on the other. So this is the AVC and noise reduction. And then this is preamp for the audio. And this is the 6K6. This is the audio tube. And so those are the main pieces here. There's, of course, a transformer that transforms to high voltage and also provides 6 volts from AC. Okay, I'm going to handhold this next part, so apologize for the focus. This radio is kind of a pain because you can't lay it upside down because of the knobs on one side and the connectors on the other. So this bank of are coils and capacitors, and they're split into 3 pieces, and these are connected to the band switch right here. These here are actually the oscillators for the different bands. So there's a set here, there's a set here, there's a set there. There's also this right here for AM. That sends a signal to the mixer to get your different frequencies. This is the mixer. This is a filter for the IF for the mixer, and this is the filter for the antenna right here. So I found several issues here. One is the band switch, which you can't quite see there, was very dirty, and I'm still having issues, and I swear it's band related, and the only thing between the bands is the band switch, so it may be the band switch, so we'll see. I actually tried both deoxit and triflow, 2 different kinds of solvents for cleaning out connectors, and it helped, but it's not all the way there, so we'll see if that fixes it. Okay, so moving down here, these are the bottom of all the different tubes. Now this right here, this is the bottom of the IF CAN transformers, and I had to change out almost every single capacitor in this so far. There's a few that are still original. Those are those chiclet style capacitors, which I'm still not sure if they're okay or not. I've replaced a few because they were in the path of the non-performing bands, and then I've had to replace a lot of resistors. You'll see the old style resistors are the big clunky brown ones, and a lot of them had drifted quite a bit. They'd increased their resistance quite a bit, or they were almost inductive. So I am probably due to change out a few more of these to see if I can fix the final bands. These are the modern equivalents, which are much smaller for the same wattage. So here's the tubes. There's a few of these, and I did not label all these. It's very helpful that they're labeled. I think they were labeled in the 60s by the person who was trying to restore this. So interestingly enough, I found out that on this radio that this tube, that was why this radio was actually non-functional initially, was that whoever had started restoring this had miswired this tube. And the way I saw that is when I powered up the radio after checking things out, that tube did not get hot. And it turned out the 8 high voltage was not there. It took me months before I had time to figure that one out. I had to trace all the circuit. And this is a non-standard pot there, which I don't even know why it's there. I can't figure out what they're trying to do. I borrowed a lug where it was connected just to connect it all together, but that was where the miswiring was. And the weird thing is that pot is only 100 ohms, and it's going to like a 6.8K resistor. So I don't know if they use the wrong value or what they're trying to do, but it's not in the schematic. Modern caps, those caps are replacing the really big can that is in the on top. Those are old, and some people will take them, gut them, and stuff these in there, but I don't really like the mess that makes. And so there you go. That's the inside of the box. Now, just a real quick one for the people who are interested. So there's the band pass and the mixer, the oscillators there, and this one should be V1. I can't quite see it, but V1. So that's actually taking that tube is amplifying RF. That's been sent through that RF filters there, and then it's actually mixing it there. There's the mixer converter tube, and that takes the frequency and they multiply with each other, and out comes audio. And then that goes to the IF, and the IF filters make sure that you're only getting the frequency that you want, because you're going to get the harmonics too. So that's those two other tubes there, and then it spits it out eventually to the audio section down here, and that is the audio section, and it's actually very common, and that is an audio output transformer, which required for tubes. Those are used to go from the impedance of a tube down to the 4, 8 ohms, or whatever the ohms are for this particular speaker, and so you can hear what's going on. So that's the bottom of the Hallicrafters S-108. Anyway, there's the Hallicrafters S-108 where the restore is. I hope that's been useful to somebody, and we'll see if I can get it all the way there or not. But anyway, that's where I am, AI6YR.
For another reason, it improves oral health.
This is 20 meters. It's a little quiet.